Hey guys, this is Jerry Mateo with recordingsoftware.com, and welcome to our first official video. If you check out the description below, we will have a link which will actually give you guys a discount on a bundle that we've created using all three of these plugins that we've featured today. So for this first video, I want to show you guys a really quick and easy way to mix a song that you might have recorded yourself if you're a singer-songwriter, and if you don't exactly have the proper treated room to record stuff, or if you don't have all the experience needed to know exactly what type of effects chains you need to create to get high quality results. So in this session, I have actually brought up a song that I recorded years ago with an artist by the name of Joe Kaufman. This was for his demo EP that we were doing for him. I actually just went to his house. We recorded everything in a living room with no acoustic treatment. And even though we used really, really good mics, the room fought us every step of the way. Rooms that aren't treated tend to have a lot of low end and low mid buildup and even high end flutter echo. So you'll get lots of ringing noises, or you'll get a lot of buildup where even though you have a really nice detailed condenser microphone, it still sounds muddy and lacks detail when you're actually in a treated room. So let's just take a quick listen.
We've been climbing up the highest hills. My legs give out below me. But
so the first thing you'll notice is the acoustic guitar doesn't have any high end detail. The bass is a DI, so it's not really affected by the room.
My legs give
and the
out below
vocals sound
me,
pretty
but
good. The thing is, he's a really good singer, and he performed every single thing that we recorded. I have about 6 or 7 songs that we recorded, and a lot of them sound really, really good. But this one in particular was a really simple singer-songwriter song, and I actually needed to do a lot of work to make this sound good. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys a really efficient way if you don't actually have all the knowledge needed to do this yourself. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring up Neutron 2 Advanced. I actually like this because it does a really good job of giving you tips or ideas of what you should do depending on what you're trying to do. So if you don't know exactly what you're doing, this is a great way of showing you a rough idea of where you should start out. First thing I'm going to do is Track Assistant. I'm going to go up front, and we're going to have a medium intensity. We're basically going to be doing lots of repairing work here, so we're going to need to make sure that it's audible. Low intensity might not be what we need, and high intensity might be too much of what we need. So all we have to do is play the audio and press next. It's going to listen, set up a preset, and then adjust all the modules for us. And already we can hear it sounds a lot better. We hit accept, bypass it. Let's see how it sounds like in the mix.
Ever you're with me, sit there for hours and watch the car.
Cool, so that sounds pretty good, but I want to fine tune this. I'm going to add a little bit more high end. I'm going to have a little bit of a high frequency cut because I know there's a little hissiness in the high end. And then I actually want to get rid of a little more mid-range that sounds nasty to me. So we're just going to play the audio. Right around here. And then there's one more module we're going to add. Right there. Bypass it. It sounds pretty good. The compressor actually sounds pretty decent. I'm going to just add one more. I'm going to make this single band, and I'm going to take out this filter bump. I want to do just a tiny bit of compression, maybe at about 25 to 30 milliseconds. Pretty fast release. And we're going to have this at about 50%. But let's see what type of sound we're getting from it first. A little too pumpy for me. And that's why we're going to actually have the wet dry mix. Sounds perfect. Now the exciter is the most important thing. This is basically a harmonic distortion section, and you have tape, retro, warm, and tube. All you have to do is drag it around. Tape has a lot of high-end distortion when you actually saturate it. So that's what we're going to aim for because I want some of that pick noise. Take it out solo. Bypass it. Cool. Next, I'm going to put the limiter on. I'm going to have the IRCLL, which is low latency. We're going to just have it set up right here, and we're going to push into it. So we're going to shave off maybe 1 or 2 dBs max. And we actually have a mono to stereo version, so we can actually see what the stereo width does for this. That sounds pretty good to me. Let's see how it sounds like in the mix now.
We've been climbing up the highest
Bypass it.
hills. My legs give out.
Next, we're going to go to the bass. This is a bass DI, and to be honest, I'm not really expecting it to really need much. What we want to do is we want to think about what we need and how we're going to achieve it. So I'm going to listen to this. I want this to have a rounder sound, maybe a more scooped sound. So let's go to the track assistant. Let's go to warm, medium intensity, hit next. Gonna do its thing, listen to it, set up a preset and adjust parameters from there. So it's done. Let's bypass it. It's done a pretty good job. Now it has an equalizer here, and I'm going to actually initiate its high pass filter, maybe make it about 33 hertz or so. A little bit of a boost. I'm going to scoop a little bit of mud and also boost a little bit of low end because we don't have any drums in this session. We're going to cut this, add another module, and we're going to add this. The compressor sounds perfect the way it's set up. I don't want to really do anything to it. But for the exciter, let's add a little bit more saturation. Maybe bring the blend down. I'm going to use the tube style. Tiny bit. Now we are a little louder, so let's bring down our output by about 2 dBs. And let's move on to the vocals. Now, the vocals are going to be pretty easy. We're not going to use Neutron. We're going to use Nectar 2 because Nectar 2 actually has everything I need for a vocal channel strip. But for this, we're going to just use the EQ and the compressors, maybe a de-esser. We have a little bit of mightiness going on. So I'm going to have a high pass filter. And I know there's like a little nasal where it kind of sounds like he's getting a little sick. So let's just listen to it.
We've been climbing up the highest hills. My legs give out below me, but I do it
Right around
for
there.
the thrill. Now you're just smoking and sitting on.
Next, I'm going to have a Baxendale style treble boost. This is basically super smooth. Look at this. That's basically doing nothing.
We've been climbing.
And next, we're going to have a de-esser.
We've been climbing up the highest hills.
Just about 3 dBs of de-essing. And next, we actually have a section right here where it gets really choppy because of the way he's saying. It kind of sounds like it's hitting your face, then it's coming back down. So let's listen to that.
For hours and watch the cars go by.
And listen how that sounds like in the mix.
For hours and watch the cars go by.
It just kind of sounds like it ducks in and out. So we're going to use both the compressors because this has parallel compression mode where you can do a mix of wet and dry, or you can have 2 compressors and mix it between those 2. I'm going to go for an optical, make this relatively fast, and make the release as fast as possible. We're going to crush it with this one. So here we go.
For hours and watch the cars go by.
We're going to bring that back up, and that sounds really bad. So we're going to go into the second compressor. We're going to make this a vintage mode, have this have a really, really gentle ratio, and even have it at RMS. The attack and release are going to be relatively fast too.
For hours and watch the cars go by.
That's pretty much invisible. Just going to bring it up by a little bit.
For hours and watch the cars go by.
And watch what happens when we have just comp 1.
For hours and
blend
watch
it in.
the cars go by. It won't stop you and I.
Next, we're going to have the limiter, and we're just going to have it set so it doesn't clip.
For hours and watch the cars go by. It won't stop you and I.
Bring the output down.
For hours and watch the cars go by. For hours and watch the cars go by.
And now let's listen to how that sounds.
For hours and watch the cars go by.
Versus without it.
For hours and watch the cars go by.
So it kind of helps it stand out the whole time without actually getting in the way. Now we have this little harmony right here.
Won't stop you and I.
And for this, we're going to actually just use Nectar 2. We're going to have another high pass filter, and we're going to have a little bit of boxiness cut out.
Won't stop you and I.
And then we're going to really, really simply just add a harmony. Now for this, we have several harmonies. We can have up or down.
Won't stop you and I.
But that sounds kind of weird to me, so I'm going to just use the unisons.
Won't stop you and I.
That sounds a lot better. So I'm going to widen these out quite a bit. Back them down.
Won't stop you and I.
Versus without it.
Won't stop you and I.
The real cool thing is we're going to have an instance of Nectar right here, and we're just going to have it be using its reverb. So we're going to bypass all of this, have the reverb. This is a vintage plate emulation. We're just going to cut out the low end and the high end, and we're going to have it at about a 15 milliseconds pre-delay and maybe a 2-second decay, have it nice and wide, even have a tiny bit of saturation, make it 100% wet, 0 dry. So now we have to just send this to it.
Won't stop you and I.
A little less.
Won't stop you and I.
And then we're going to go to the lead vocal, turn it on.
Won't stop you and I.
Cool. So now let's take a listen to what we've created.
Been climbing up the highest hills. My legs give out.
And watch what happens when I
below me,
bypass
but
these.
I do it for the thrill. Now you're just smoke.
Right? Sounds completely different. Now let's try maybe this section. And we'll have this vocal harmony in it. And we're just going to bypass them all and bring them in.
Watch the cars go by. It won't stop you and I.
A world of difference. Now, next, we're going to actually go to our submix, and we're going to have a little bit of mix bus compression to kind of glue everything together, make it sound like it's not a bunch of instruments playing, make it sound more like it's a glued song. So I'm going to use the Manic Compressor from Boss Digital Labs, because if I hit this little button, we have a wet dry fader. And what is more fun than having a fader? I'm going to go for the vintage module, and we're going to go for really, really, really pumpy. We want this to sound really aggressive. So I'm going to have a fast attack, a slowish release, and then we're going to have a really high threshold, and we're going to have a relatively high ratio. So here we go.
Sit there for hours and watch the cars go by. It won't stop you and I.
The cool thing is we have a loudness relief, which will basically kind of help remedy the sound of that pumpiness. And we have beef modes. We have neutral, thin, and thick. Let's try thick.
Sit there for hours and watch the cars go by.
Cool. So now we're going to bring it all the way down. We're going to have the dry up, and we're going to slowly bring up just a tiny bit of this, enough to really just give us a little bit of extra thickness without really kind of making it sound bad.
Sit there for hours and watch the cars go by. It won't stop you and I.
Now let's bypass that.
Sit there for hours and watch the cars go by.
Put it on.
It won't stop you and I.
Now listen to the bass and the guitar. And with it off. With it on, it just kind of gives it this movement, this vibe, and it also helps everything sound like it's a cohesive unit. That's it. It's really that easy. I hope you guys like this. And like I said, this is aimed for the singer-songwriter, the guy who doesn't really know how to get started or what to do. And for another video, I'll actually go in depth and show you guys a big list of an actual signal chain that I would do to actually mix and master this as a professional. I think this is good enough to be released out to your iTunes or whatever, your social media, just to, send music out there that sounds good. Anyway, if you check out the description below, we will have a link which will actually give you guys a discount on a bundle that we've created using all 3 of these plugins that we've featured today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is Jerry Mateo with recordingsoftware.com, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.